and welcome to the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, Finding a Faculty Mentor Workshop. My name is Anna Patino. I'm a UROP Advisor, and I will be presenting today's workshop. Starting off with undergraduate research or creative activities. Throughout the presentation, I'll be referring to undergraduate research or some sort of creative activity which we support here at UROP, but what exactly does that mean? So when I'm talking about research or creative activities, I am talking about activities that are done on campus here at UCI. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be physically done on campus, right? But it does mean that you do need to be working directly with a current UCI faculty mentor, which is what we'll be covering today especially. Additionally, when I do refer to research or creative activities, this can be referring to an independent project that you're working with directly with your faculty mentor, or it could be referring to a group project that you might be working with in a group of researchers with your faculty or in a lab. So that is something that you'll want to keep in mind as we go over today's workshop. As a friendly reminder, for folks that have not attended our undergraduate research and U information session or watched the recording, we do highly recommend that you start there because it is going to give important context to today's workshop and might give you some more information that you might have questions about. So if anyone's curious about watching that information session, please do go back to the UROP website and click our research roadmap where you can find a recording of that information session, or check out the UROP calendar to see if there are going to be any information sessions coming up during the academic year. You'll notice that today we are on step 2 of our research roadmap. At this point, students should have somewhat of an idea of what topics might interest them, what research topics they might want to be working towards. If you have any questions about how to find a topic that you might find interesting, please go back to the research roadmap on the UROP website and check out the resources there, or make an advising session. So again, we'll be covering step 2 on our research roadmap, and let's go ahead and get started. So let's do a little bit of a recap. So we did go over some of this information in our undergraduate research and U information session, but what does it mean to find a faculty mentor? You'll want to start by making a list of faculty who interest you, so folks that you want to work with. And you might want to start with faculty that you know, so maybe some of your professors might be doing research that you're interested in. You could also check out the faculty profile system, which is faculty.uci.edu, which is a great tool to use if you are still considering a wide range of faculty or topics. Additionally, you can also look at each school or department that you may be interested in, as they all have websites with relevant information. And we do really want to recommend that you keep your list organized as much as possible. Additionally, UROP does have some tools to help you keep organized, which I'm going to cover in just a little bit. Once you find some faculty that you might be interested in working with, you'll want to research that faculty member further, and this is going to be important for each faculty member that you're considering. So some tools to use are Google Scholars, so that you can access some of their recent publications. Additionally, personal and/or lab websites, if they are available, are great resources to use. And of course, you can always use our UCI libraries and librarians to help you find more relevant resources. So, keeping your list organized. Here at the UROP team, we have created a template for you to keep your faculty list organized. And this has all of the categories that you might want to consider when taking a look at faculty members that you would like to work with in the future. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to access this template on the UROP website. All right, here we are on the UROP website, and as you'll see, we have some general information on this front page here, but what we're really going to be focusing on is our research roadmap, right? So as you can see up here on this nav bar, we are going to click on Research Roadmap. And all of these steps on our research roadmap are clickable, which is a great way to go ahead and make sure that you are going in order or accessing the relevant resources to you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Find Potential Faculty Mentors, which is our step 2 that we're covering today. If I scroll down here on our research roadmap step 2, you'll see a couple of resources here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this worksheet, which comes directly from our undergraduate research and U workbook, which has some more relevant resources to the specific step that we're on today. As I scroll down, you can see that there are links to relevant resources, but what I'm really interested in today is going to be this third page here, where you can see that we have a faculty organization template, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. And you can see that it takes me to Google Sheets, and I'm able to copy this document. So you're going to want to go ahead and make a copy. And here you can go ahead and use this template any way that you would like. This is your copy to use, and you can fill out as many or as little faculty mentors as you are considering. We do always recommend that you start with at least 5 faculty mentors, just to make sure that you're getting a good range of folks and to make sure that you have multiple options. So if you'll take a look at this template here, there is space for the name of the faculty member, a contact information, whether that's a phone number, but typically it's going to be an email. You can also see that there is a drop-down menu to list which school that faculty mentor is a part of. You can also go ahead and list any of their research interests that overlap with your particular interests. Additionally, there is space for a faculty website or a lab website if they have that available. Some folks find it helpful to go ahead and link the articles that they are considering reading of that faculty mentor. Additionally, sometimes this might be the most recent article that the mentor has published. And you can go ahead and keep track of how you apply to these faculty mentors on this sheet as well, which we will cover a little bit in our next workshop. But here you can go ahead and see that there is a space for you to put an application or email date, and also when you follow up with that faculty mentor. So definitely make sure to use this resource, as it's extremely helpful for staying organized. At this point, I do really want us to consider what sort of research we're interested in. As I said, for folks that are attending this workshop, you might already have an idea of what topics you find interesting. But if you don't, I really do recommend that you go back to our resources on our UROP website, as you've seen. And you can also use faculty.uci.edu, which is our faculty search engine, to give you an idea of what our current faculty are doing. Now let's go to an example. Feel free to take out your device and follow along, but you will have an opportunity to practice on your own later on in this workshop. I'm going to go over what I mean when I say we're going to search for faculty mentors and show you online in time, and you can go ahead and pause the video if you need to review the information, or just go ahead and watch and follow along. In this example, I'll be going over a non-STEM faculty mentor so that folks can get an idea of what that might look like. And let's say that we have a student that is interested in researching a topic related to psychology, or they are in our psychology major, and those are the faculty that they are wanting to explore. So I'm going to go to Google and do a quick Google search and just go ahead and look up UCI School of Social Ecology. You can see that the website pops up, and of course, psychology is within our School of Social Ecology. I'm here on the Social Ecology website, and there's going to be different labels for different things depending on the website that you're on. But what I'm really interested in here is going to academics and then departments and programs, because that will take me to the more specific information that I'm after. If I scroll down, you can see that psychology is listed as one of our departments, and I'll go ahead and click on that. Again, the labels at the top of the nav bar might differ depending on what website you're on, but if I take a look at this and I'm interested at looking at faculty specifically, I'm going to go up here to people, and then you'll see that that first option is faculty. Let's go ahead and click on that. You'll see that this gives me a very, very long list of all of the wonderful faculty mentors that we have in the School of Social Ecology within the Department of Psychology. And I'm going to scroll all the way down and give an example of what a faculty bio could look like. So let's go here to Dr. Pressman as our example. You can see that she's a professor of psychology, and it has some general information here just straight on the page. So you can see specializations and research interests, as well as contact information and even an office number. So if I go down here, you can see that she has a faculty website available, which again is not available for all professors, but when they are a great resource that I do really recommend that you check out. So let's go ahead and click on Dr. Pressman's website. This takes me to her faculty website and bio, so you can get some more specific information about their bio and their personal interests, as well as, again, more contact information, more information about their key research areas, and even a professional bio. So there's quite a bit of information here, including information about Dr. Pressman's lab. So let's go ahead and check out her lab website. So we can see here that we are on the website for the Stress, Emotion, and Physical Health Lab. And as I'm taking a look at this website, we'll want to collect some information thinking back to that organizational template that I shared before. So what information can we gain from taking a look at this lab website? We can see here some wonderful pictures of their team, as well as some information on lab manager, some relevant links here, news, and an application. So I'm going to scroll back up to see if my interests would align particularly with this professor, right? So if I am going up here to research, I can see Dr. Pressman's current studies and get some more information about what it is that she is researching currently. Additionally, I can take a look at publications that might be relevant to her work, which might give us a better understanding of what sort of research is being done in the lab as a whole, and whether or not this is something that we might want to consider. Additionally, there is some information on lab members, and just by taking a look at this menu, I can see that there is a section for research assistants, meaning that this particular professor does work with undergraduate students, which is something that you'll want to note as you are considering professors to work with, as not all professors work extremely closely with their undergraduate students, but this is something that really does show that they do take research assistants and that you might want to consider applying to Dr. Pressman's lab. So that was a look at our more non-STEM example. Let's go ahead and take a look at what it might look like to view a more STEM-focused professor. In this example, I'll be covering the School of Engineering from the perspective of a student that might be more interested in something related to biomedical engineering. So let's go ahead and take a look at the UCI School of Engineering. You'll see that it's this first link here. And if I take a look at our School of Engineering website, pretty similar to our other example, I'll take a look at our department as it'll get me to the more specific information that I'm currently after. If I go to biomedical engineering and click on that, I'm now on the departmental page for biomedical engineering, and I'll go ahead and take a look on this left nav bar for faculty and staff. As I scroll down, you can take a look at these links, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that first one that says faculty. Again, showing a lot of really great professors to work with that have varying interests, and you can definitely go ahead and click on every single one of these if that's something that you're interested in. I'm going to go ahead and click on Dr. Michelle Kine's profile, as I feel it's a good example for what we're trying to get today. So you can see there's, again, some general information about her research interests and what schools and departments she works in. Additionally, some contact information is listed here. And most importantly, you can see that down here, there is a link to her research lab. If I click on that link, it takes me directly to Dr. Kine's lab website, which we can take a look at here. So you can either click on this button here that says View Projects, or we can continue to scroll down and see what other information we can find, like this mission statement and the current projects that they're working on. So if this is something that you are interested in, you could go ahead and click on each one of these links. I'm going to head back up to the top of the page, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the team. So we can see here again that there is some information on Dr. Kine specifically, as well as graduate students, and even undergraduate students. So again, here's some information about whether or not this professor works with undergraduate students to begin with, and whether or not this would be a promising potential collaboration or faculty mentor to reach out to. Here I can see relevant publications, and these are listed in reverse chronological order so that I can see the most recent publications at the top. This is something that you'll want to keep in mind and potentially link to the Google Sheet that you are working off of. So that covers 2 examples of how to search for faculty online using school or departmental websites. And now that you've seen 2 different examples, now it's your turn. Let's go ahead and cover those steps one more time so that you can go ahead and practice on your own. So as we are going to those school or department websites, we want to make sure to do a Google search of the school or department faculty directory of your choice. I recommend using the phrase UCI School of blank, depending on what you're interested in, and faculty, so that it takes you directly to that faculty page as well. You can click on the most relevant link to your needs. And note that the schools, departments may label their directories differently, so definitely keep an eye out for some common labels that websites might use, like faculty, people, faculty directory, or core faculty. All of these will likely take you to that faculty directory link that I have been mentioning. At this point, you can go ahead and pause the video. We recommend that you take about 3 minutes to do your first search, not taking too much time so that you just get comfortable with the mechanics of looking for faculty. But of course, you can always work at your own pace or come back to this video when you're ready. Welcome back. So at this point, you will have practiced how to do that faculty search, and now we're going to talk a little bit more deeply about researching the professor themselves. So as you're looking through those faculty bios, you'll definitely want to keep some questions in mind, as I explained when I was looking through those faculty bios. So when you're thinking about each faculty member that you could consider working with, think about whether their research areas overlap with your particular interests. Do they link a lab or personal website? Is this something that you might want to consider looking through, as it might have more relevant information to that faculty member? Is there any information about undergraduate researchers or any types of requirements that they might have for their particular research group, lab, or group for creative activities? Or are there any recent publications or projects that I can take a look at to get a better understanding of what this particular professor is working on currently? So again, now that you've done your initial search, we do recommend that you pause the video here. Take about 8 minutes to go ahead and look through those faculty bios. Go ahead and click on any relevant links, look through their websites if they're available. Don't take too much time doing this, as again, we are just wanting you to get comfortable with the mechanics of looking through these bios so that you can take a look back on your own at some future point. You can go ahead and pause the video here for 8 minutes or come back to the video whenever you're ready. Now that you've had a chance to practice on your own, let's ask some questions. Did you find any professors that you would consider applying to work with? If the answer is yes, then that's great. Make sure to keep them organized on that template that we've provided, and make sure that you go ahead and watch our next workshop on applying to those opportunities. But if you happen to not find any professors that you're interested in working with, there's likely some questions that you could definitely work through. So make sure to reach out to UROP for more help, either by making an advising appointment or checking out more resources on our website. As you're making your list and filling out that UROP template, please do make sure that you're keeping track of what you've already looked through and who you're considering working with, as this will be very helpful for making sure that you finish these tasks in a timely manner and that you're getting back to faculty that you might be reaching out to. I recommend that you go ahead and take some time at this moment to fill out the first line of information. So make sure that you fill out the faculty name, research interests, school or department that they're a part of, contact information, and any relevant links potentially to a lab website, or maybe their articles if those were available to you. You can take about 3 minutes to go ahead and do this task, not wanting to take too long, just to make sure that you're comfortable with using this template and seeing if you have any questions to ask a UROP advisor in the future. Now that we've practiced looking up faculty mentors, taking a closer look at their bios through their research, and considering whether or not we'd like to apply to work with them, how do you feel in this moment? Do you feel confident about continuing this process on your own? If the answer is no, likely there might be some questions that you'd like to ask an advisor, either one of our UROP peer advisors or a professional staff, and I recommend that you connect with our office to go ahead and go through those questions or concerns. And if you do feel confident to continue this process on your own, I highly recommend that you continue to do so, making sure that you have at least 5 professors on your list before you begin to apply to opportunities, making sure that you have plenty of chances to get into research as an undergraduate student here at UCI. Let's take a look back at our research roadmap and see how far we've come. So many of us started on our Start Here, watching the undergraduate research and U information session. We have an understanding of what topics we might like to research, so we have passed our Find a Topic stage. Currently, we are on Find Potential Faculty Mentors, but once we've found enough faculty mentors that we might be interested in working with, then we might want to consider going to step 3, applying to those research opportunities. For folks that would like additional support in applying to research opportunities, I highly recommend that you check out our recorded video on applying to research opportunities, or definitely come to a workshop during the academic year. You can check out the UROP calendar to see when our upcoming dates are. We've now concluded our Finding a Faculty Mentor workshop. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. Please do make sure to connect with our office if you have any questions or concerns. But I'm wishing you all the best of luck on finding a faculty mentor that is a great fit for you, and I look forward to seeing you in our next workshop.